Welcome to the Oracle Golden Gate YouTube video series. Oracle Golden Gate is the industry's premier multi-cloud technology for building real-time data fabrics, data mesh, and data replication solutions. With class-leading, high-throughput, and extremely low-latency streaming data, Oracle Golden Gate is in a league of its own. Thousands of customers in over 180 countries globally trust Golden Gate with their most important data, and Golden Gate is consistently rated as a top leader for data integration and enterprise data fabrics. One key reason that Golden Gate is one of the most successful integration tools in history is the consistent innovation over more than 20 years. Golden Gate has notched many industry firsts for modern event-driven streaming data solutions. Oracle Golden Gate is first and foremost known for its data event capabilities, including long-time leadership for data high availability, transaction replication, and change data capture. More recently, since 2015, the most successful areas of Golden Gate have been in the areas of data pipelines and stream analytics. Modern technology solutions demand real-time data ingestion, streaming ETL for low latencies, and best-of-breed analytics on data in motion. Golden Gate delivers modern time series analysis in a no-code development package with enterprise-class data governance, including best-in-class data security, data verification, and a rich metadata catalog. Another reason that Golden Gate is so successful is that it is truly a tool for all enterprises, supporting a huge variety of common databases, applications, NoSQL data stores, clouds, and messaging systems in a powerful low-latency data fabric. Golden Gate's modern microservices architecture is the foundation of real-time data events for the event-driven business. With an easy-to-use browser-based user interface and available cloud services for just pennies per hour, there's nothing stopping you from realizing the future today. Try Golden Gate for free. Follow this link for more information. And now, onwards to the video you came for.
I'm Dennis Gray. I am a Senior Director in Product Management, and I lead the Golden Gate native cloud service, so OCI Golden Gate, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Golden Gate, as well as our cloud solutions, big data solutions within Golden Gate. And really today, the focus is on cloud native, enabling multi-cloud, SaaS, and edge computing with Golden Gate. And that's what I'm going to walk through today. Over the next couple of days, as Jeff mentioned, we have a lot of new and exciting information that we're going to share. I actually think I have a lot to share in my session, and as well as some things that this will be the first time we actually talk about them and the first time that we show them. So we all know, or a lot of us on this call know, that Golden Gate is the most trusted data integration solution, and I think therefore the most trusted cloud data integration solution. Golden Gate is a multi-cloud solution, and as we walk through this deck and as you go out and do your research on your own, one of the things that really shows up is how easily Golden Gate enables multi-cloud. So being able to, as Jeff showed with the data mesh architecture, but being able to ensure that your data is at the location that you need your data. And in the cloud, that's more important than ever. Golden Gate itself can run anywhere, and not only anywhere, but in all clouds, and support it in all clouds, support it on compute and infrastructure within those clouds. We can also run on edge nodes. So there's different types of edge nodes within Oracle Cloud, but really any type of edge node where you have compute running and Golden Gate running as well. And then, of course, we have our Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Golden Gate, which is our native service, which is 100% pay-per-use. Saw a lot of questions come in on the Q&A on that as well. It's elastic, it has auto scale. So just like our autonomous services within the database, we can select a base level of OCPUs. And as you require additional resources, say for heavy workloads throughout the week, that we can automatically scale, and you have those additional OCPUs and additional memory available. One of the big items that big announcements for me, and big announcements I think overall for this CAB, is we actually have a limited availability coming up within OCI Golden Gate, and that'll be in the next month or so. And a big item for us because within the cloud, it's been out for a little less than a year, and we've been adding more and more technologies and deployment types, and we'll have the ability to replicate and capture with big data, including Kafka, OCI Object Store, OCI Streaming, as well as bringing in MySQL as a source and target. And then we'll have another limited availability on Postgres as well that we'll see in the future. One of the biggest items that we have as far as benefits for us bringing to the cloud and for us to focus on is just really the fact that we really know, and you guys know, that we're the best performant, efficient data replication, change data generation tool out there. So the fastest, the best. And as we move to the cloud, it was really important for us to deliver the highest value for you guys, for our customers as well. So making sure that we're the cheapest as well, and that you get the biggest bang for your buck out of OCI Golden Gate and our cloud infrastructure within Golden Gate. And then just so I didn't forget it, I left that live demo there. So at the end of this session, we're going to do a demonstration on bidirectional replication in OCI. So from region to region, and walk through that. So a lot to have in this 45-minute session, or depending on how much time I actually do get. So Golden Gate itself, I've talked through this, but definitely built for multi-cloud. And really, what does that mean? So if we rewind and go back, and we have a lot of customers, as we saw, that have been using Golden Gate, on-premise and historically. But as we moved to the cloud, it meant that we actually had to think about how Golden Gate would be used in the cloud. And there's been a lot of questions on Hub, a lot of questions on how does Golden Gate deal with geographic separated regions, and how do we handle those types of latency. So one of the big items there was building Golden Gate on microservices itself. So making sure that we could take advantage of microservices, that we could be spread out, that we could deal with network outages, those types of things as we go through. So that's where the microservices come in. And that was really one of the main reasons, or big reasons, when we look back, of why we re-architected Golden Gate and we're focused on microservices. Another item for us is being 100% REST enabled. So anything that we do in the UI is enabled through a REST API call. So we can do everything that we would want to do. And there were also questions in the Q&A around the command line interface. And we have the admin client, which uses the same set of APIs. There's additional APIs that aren't necessarily used in either one that can all be used. Actually, in the demo, I'm going to use a set of REST APIs to be able to get the statistics and show those from each region. So very important for us that we could run this all natively in the UI, but that same set of APIs is there. So Golden Gate itself architected for the cloud and enabling multi-cloud. Jeff talked a lot about data mesh and global transaction overall. And for us to enable that, thinking of products first, so data products first. And my whole career has really been spent in data integration. And it's not necessarily anything new to me that we're thinking about what we're going to do with the data and making it available as a product. But thinking about it at this whole supply and demand level definitely is something new. And thinking about this consumer-driven data product. And now, well, historically, we've always focused on event-centric and making sure that we can get to the change data as quickly as possible, but we've never been able to take advantage of an event stream and change that data as a stream of data. So also looking at data from a streaming-centric point of view, being able to perform continuous integration, continuous transformation on that data. So a big change for us as we move forward overall, so on-prem, but also as we move to the cloud, to be able to take advantage of all of these cloud services, cloud functionality, cloud features that exist today. And then when we just take a look at our competition and we compare really what their solutions are and what they're enabling from an event-centric or from streaming, or when they're thinking of consumer-driven data replication, what does that mean? And if we go out and look, we'll see very narrow point solutions that they've built to deliver possibly real-time data capture, real-time data delivery. If we look at what they would do from an aggregation or streaming transformation point of view, that it's going to be very high code that they're building, but very point solutions overall. So we're not going to see a solution as simple and as complete as Golden Gate. So if we were looking at data migrations, if we were looking at data high availability, data durability, all of these types of things, real-time continuous data transformation, all of these things that are part of the foundation of Golden Gate and our cloud solution within Golden Gate, they're just not there within our competition. And then when we look at all this provided in one native service as well, that we'll get into. So really Golden Gate and OCI Golden Gate being the best for multi-cloud overall. And Golden Gate running in all clouds. So Golden Gate can run anywhere where we're certified and supported on compute, which really in today's cloud is one generalized set of compute operating systems that we run in. And so certified, we're really every cloud out there, and every cloud that our customers are definitely running on. And we realize that customers are going to be using multi-cloud environments. And we can run directly on compute in these third-party clouds. We can be containerized. So I put in the link here for our container images on Docker and how we can containerize GoldenGate and run it in multi-clouds, how we can run it in third-party cloud edge nodes as well. We have OCI Golden Gate that I've talked about a lot already, but we'll get into the details for each. But when we think of our re-architecture of GoldenGate and what we have done within GoldenGate Microservices, we want to be able to take advantage of all of these cloud native features. So each cloud has a way to store file where it's highly durable, highly available across regions. How do we take advantage of that? How do we take advantage of the different types of networking that exist within your different cloud regions? So private networking, public networking. How do we actually monitor and alert and act on events? And we can do that because now everything that we have within GoldenGate is available through a REST API. Not only that, but when we look at OCI GoldenGate and built-in OCI, we can spin up, we can tear down environments, so dev, test, UAT. We can do all of that through the OCI REST APIs with Terraform, with Ansible to be able to manage that continuous integration, continuous development environment that we have within our cloud itself. And then thinking about all of the differentiated use cases. So things that Jeff talked about in his sessions, things that we're going to hear about over the next day and a half now, is that ability to have our standard change data capture, CDC, heterogeneous real-time replication, big data replication, making sure that your mission critical high value data is available. And then again, GoldenGate itself is built with network outage in mind. So as we move to the cloud, and this is one big thing that we see, especially when we're talking multi-clouds, there's a lot of ways that networking that we have just hiccups along the way in the network. And GoldenGate is built for that. So GoldenGate being able to handle a source outage, a target outage, a middle tier outage, and being able to come back from that and ensure that we have zero data loss along the way. So really important feature and differentiation when we're talking about GoldenGate. GoldenGate running on the edge. So a couple different sides that we've already talked to, but having that edge node. So not necessarily inside of a cloud service, but very similar to being a cloud service. And Oracle has a couple of these types, as well as our third-party cloud vendors have their own types of edge computing as well. But the Oracle Roving Edge is actually a really neat optimized device that's portable, it's scalable, it can run anywhere. But the great thing about the Roving Edge device is the fact that it has that same set of services, the same unified experience that we would see when we use OCI Console in the cloud or OCI Golden Gate in the cloud. It's there. It's in this device. It's available. GoldenGate can run there, and it's the same GoldenGate that you would see in the cloud, same GoldenGate you would see on-prem, and same with our other services as well that are there in the Roving Edge. Another big edge device that our customers take advantage of is Exadata Cloud@Customer. And when you're using Exadata Cloud@Customer, the fact is that you do not want to replicate data through the OCI Cloud, through the Oracle Public Cloud to be able to replicate that data or move it to other on-premise environments. And so we can have our Exadata Cloud@Customer and GoldenGate as well, and GoldenGate running there side by side to provide that real-time replication between Exadata Cloud@Customer or to on-premise. And as we'll see in the roadmap with OCI Golden Gate, this will actually run natively there as well, with the control plane being in OCI and the data plane being inside of Cloud@Customer. This is public cloud hardware that's actually on premise or located in your data center, and giving you the ability now to also have autonomous database in your data center. So really big features and functionality that are delivered with Exadata Cloud@Customer. Another edge node, but is actually really neat capability that we have within OCI and with OCI Golden Gate is the dedicated regions. So all of our cloud capabilities, all of our public cloud capabilities are available to be packaged up and available in a dedicated region. So if you as a customer wanted a specific location where you had our Oracle Public Cloud that you could have a dedicated region. And this dedicated region would have all of our services, all of the features and functionality that you would expect in the cloud. You could actually share the cost because this is your data center. And the Oracle Public Cloud is there, as well as you as a customer, your other services that are running there could be there as well. So it gives you a lot of flexibility around location, but also when you think of overall cost. So GoldenGate, again, being able to run anywhere. And of course, we want to make sure that Oracle GoldenGate runs the best in Oracle Cloud. So we have a native service for Oracle Cloud. We have a service that runs on IaaS in Oracle Cloud, and all built with those same set of differentiated use cases. So our native service is OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure GoldenGate, fully managed. We manage the upgrade cycle. We manage the networking, the disk, the security, certificates as far as SSL goes. It's truly elastic. So turning on auto scale, it's pay for what you use, very low operations cost, because if something happens to the health of this environment, that's up to Oracle and our DevOps team to own and to fix and to meet the SLAs that we guarantee to you as a customer. We also have more of a customer managed cloud service, which is GoldenGate on OCI Marketplace, which allows you to spin up GoldenGate on IaaS type environments. These have the latest GoldenGate releases. They also support all of the technologies from a source and target that we would expect with all the different databases, as well as the big data sources and targets. And again, all on the expected differentiated use cases. So active, real-time data warehouses, data lakes, delta lakes, being able to capture and deliver data with autonomous databases, all the heterogeneous, heterogeneous and big data coming soon to OCI GoldenGate, and we'll talk to that as well. But Oracle GoldenGate, OCI GoldenGate, GoldenGate on Marketplace, all running in the Oracle Cloud and being best for Oracle Cloud. We talked a lot about GoldenGate being the most trusted data integration solution overall. And really, it's the most trusted data integration solution overall because it's the most efficient, it's the most powerful. And for enterprise use cases, really delivering the biggest bang for the buck overall for what it does. But as we look to the cloud, one of the big items for us was to make sure or to ensure that GoldenGate is also very affordable for our small to medium businesses and small to medium customers that are using GoldenGate. We also want to make sure that data engineers, possibly analysts, can use GoldenGate, and that the configuration, the setup, the management, understanding the source databases, or possibly the middle tier, whatever that happens to be, that it's very easy to use. And doing the configuration, the management, the deployment of GoldenGate, OCI GoldenGate is very easy to use. So those were two big items for us. And the easy to use part, we don't stop with just the release of OCI GoldenGate and making the management configuration easy. We have big plans to make not just the foundation, which we have today, but really the creation of the replications and these change data streams and this data mesh architecture. And some of the questions that I already answered in the Q&A, but those are the types of things that we want to make very easy going forward. Possibly one of the items that I saw come up was around initial load and table refresh, but making those types of things seamless in the end, that we understand when those types of actions occur and when we may need to do those again. So that's a big area for focus. We'll see that on the roadmap, but also just with the initial release of the service, very focusing on ease of use and affordability. And as far as affordability goes, we released OCI GoldenGate a little less than a year ago, so back at the end of April of last year. And one of the great things was to see all the feedback that we got from different analysts, from our customers. But one of the really great things was seeing how we were able to move the rankings and ratings of our different services in Oracle. And from Autonomous Database, they were actually able to see a really big jump in their analyst rating from Wikibon. And the whole reason was GoldenGate itself and OCI GoldenGate, an ability for us to now position and have customers that are small to medium be able to afford OCI GoldenGate. So they said it was definitely a game changer, and that was a goal for us as we were releasing the service. And now as we start bringing in the big data sources and targets, MySQL, Postgres, and the additional types, so streaming, we'll bring in stream analytics. Way far down the line, we'll see additional deployment types that'll come in as well, but making this available to not just our enterprise customers, but to all types of customers overall. use cases, I've hit on a lot of the use cases, but as we're talking through cloud, I wanted to make sure that I hit on really the standard use cases and where we see customers today and the adoption overall. So on-premise to cloud, whether it happens to be a migration, an application migration from ground to cloud, could just be real-time data movement that we want to be able to keep in sync our on-premise and our cloud, an analytical environment, but enabling on-premise to cloud. And again, it doesn't have to be Oracle Cloud. It could be any cloud. It could be an edge system, but enabling that real-time transactions available in any place within a cloud. Multi-region replication. So if we were to go back 5 years ago when we were having this session with a customer, or our customer advisory board or customer summit, our customers were using GoldenGate to keep regions in sync in the cloud. May not have been Oracle Cloud, but other clouds as well. And they were using GoldenGate deployed to do real-time replication between regions, bi-directional replication between regions, and that has been utilized by our customers for some time now. Now that OCI Golden Gate is out, it makes it very easy for us to do real-time replication across our regions in OCI Cloud. We can do replication in other clouds as well, whether we're using GoldenGate deployed on compute or our service. So really enabling very ease of use for multi-region. SaaS to OCI. So when we think of SaaS within Oracle, being able to get to that change data stream, that data stream coming out of SaaS. And our SaaS, different SaaS services inside of Oracle, so Retail Cloud, Fusion Cloud, Transportation Management, they actually build or utilize GoldenGate inside of their SaaS environments to generate this change data stream. And historically, they've been able to deliver to any GoldenGate instance. They deliver that over public. It's all secured by certificates and security, all over SSL. And once we released OCI Golden Gate, this has been a huge area of adoption for our customers that were using this model, because more than likely they were already delivering to some cloud target. They can now deliver into OCI Golden Gate. OCI Golden Gate can take this stream of data and deliver it directly into their targets. And you can think about that a little bit when we go through the demo today, because a receiver server can receive data. Receiver server in OCI Golden Gate can receive data from anywhere, from anywhere where Golden Gate is delivering that data. And that's exactly what the SaaS services are doing. And then we've talked a lot about Golden Gate being an enabler for multi-cloud. But if you take a look at the analyst reviews for Golden Gate and OCI Golden Gate, really we are one of the best multi-cloud enablers. So when I have, or when you as a customer or me have my databases, my data in multiple clouds, how do I actually get that data in each cloud? How do I ensure that my data is up to date and in sync? Golden Gate. And now, by enabling Golden Gate, turning on replication, building out your applications, I've enabled my multi-cloud environment, and I've made it much easier for my end users to be able to see that data, trust that data, and utilize that data. So OCI Golden Gate integration pattern. So I mentioned today that OCI Golden Gate is Oracle to Oracle, and we're adding in those new features that we'll talk about as well for big data, MySQL, and Postgres, and we're adding more and more with each release after that. But we also support a lot of different integration patterns today. So on-premise to cloud, cloud to on-premise, if latency happens to be there. It's not a use case we would recommend, but it's there. But also being able to do heterogeneous. So for any source that or target really that we don't support today in OCI Golden Gate, we can utilize an on-prem instance of Golden Gate. We can utilize a marketplace instance of Golden Gate, something to do that capture of Golden Gate. So similar to number 5, where we can capture that stream of change data itself, move that into Golden Gate, OCI Golden Gate, and with the receiver service, and then we can replicate that data to anywhere that we have connectivity to. Same thing if we wanted to possibly take our stream of data, and I saw this question come up as well, and move that into stream analytics. So OCI Golden Gate could do the capturing, and we can deliver that data with the distribution server directly into stream analytics running on OCI Marketplace, and we can utilize that to do our real-time continuous stream processing on that data. So there's a lot of different integration patterns we support today, and this really is about ready to exponentially increase as we get into our limited availability, and then as we continue to bring in more deployments and more sources and targets. I also wanted to talk through our auto scaling story. So when we think of a native service, it should be true pay for what you use. So when I spin up a replication service, overall, when it's running, I should be billed for it. And when it's not, I should not be billed for it. Also, it should be elastic, that if I need more resources, if I need more OCPUs, if I need more memory, that it should automatically have those available when I need them. And I shouldn't have to wait for those to be provisioned or added in. And I should not necessarily have to plan for those as well. And that's what we see here on the right. So within OCI Golden Gate, that we can choose a base level of OCPUs, say 4, and we can turn on auto scaling, and then we can auto scale between 4 and 12. And when this additional resources are needed, they're there. They're already provisioned. They're available, as well as the memory. And our replication can utilize those resources. And as soon as they're not needed anymore, you as a customer, you're not billed for those resources. So it goes right back down. So it's truly pay for what you need, and it's per second billing. And scaling happens online when we have auto scaling turned on. And really, when we look at competitors overall, for all of the use cases that we provide with OCI Golden Gate today, that there's no competitor that offers this type of elastic billing or these type of replication capabilities overall. Easy to use, low code, no code, fully microservices user experience. So when we take a look at OCI Golden Gate, and what it has is the fact that we have the ability to manage OCI Golden Gate through the OCI console to be able to create our infrastructure. That's our OCI deployment. That's our OCI service. It's the connectivity that we need, because in the cloud, connectivity is a little different, especially if we're going cloud to on-prem or cloud to third party. And that's where we have our database registrations and things we'll walk through in the demo. But then we also have our deployment console that allows us to create and extracts and replicates. We can monitor and get down into the specific details of a process. But we also have alerting, monitoring, and eventing all within the OCI console. So if deployment happened to go down or an extract happened to go down, then we could be alerted in the OCI console the same way we would be for other services. So here's the big announcement for my session, is the fact that we are going to have a limited availability. We're getting really close to launching this, and we want to make it available to customers so they can go out and try and work through the big data capture and replication, as well as MySQL. And then we'll also be adding in Postgres. But for the big data items that we have, and actually, I'm contemplating whether to show some of this live today, but Kafka, OCI Object Store, OCI Streaming, and then bringing in MySQL and all the different flavors of MySQL as well. And then we'll see Postgres as well. And then, big points for us is bringing this into the cloud, is allowing Golden Gate to be used with these sources and targets faster, better, and at very high value. So a lot of value for your dollar there within OCI Golden Gate. So I know there's a lot of interest here. We've had a lot of interest internally, and a lot of interest that I know will come up externally, especially with everyone that's on this call. So please reach out to your local rep. I know I put my name in the Q&A a couple times already, so feel free to reach out to me as well. And we can, when this is available, we'll start sharing the details of how customers will get access to this and what they can use from a limited availability point of view. All right, so getting close to the demo here, but I wanted to also cover some of the roadmap features. So we have a really big roadmap in OCI Golden Gate, and I know we're sharing this with a lot of people, so we have it pretty focused on some of the really big items that we'll be delivering over the next couple of years. But if we look out, we have a lot of very interesting and exciting features. In 2022, in the first half, we've really been focused on bringing in these new deployments and connection types that we've talked about for limited availability. As we move into the second half, I talked about the fact that today we can use Golden Gate with Exadata Cloud Customer, but we want to be able to have OCI Golden Gate managed and monitored from within OCI, but deployed in a data plane that's on Cloud Customer. So that'll be something that's a big item for us in the second half. We'll have a streaming analytics deployment type in OCI Golden Gate that'll be fully managed from a compute as well. We'll always be adding more sources and targets. So this is something that has never stopped within on-premise or core Golden Gate, and it's something that will never stop in OCI Golden Gate as well. So we'll continue to be up to date on the latest and greatest technologies, as well as ensuring that we are up to support on the certification of updates to existing sources and targets. Another item for us, so as moving to the cloud, and we know this is important for our customers, it's items we've had in from the beginning, but observability, diagnosability, and I even saw questions on this come up about trail file management, looking at trails and logging of OCI Golden Gate, but this is a huge area for us, and we want to make sure that we continually add new features and functionality here as well. So trail file management, overall storage utilization is a big one for us. Backups, doing this all online, our maintenance and maintenance schedule, integrating with OCI logging, the supportability side within health and other areas. So those are really big for us as well. So we'll see a lot of updates come out with our monthly releases on that as well. And then looking out over the next 12 to 18 months within 2023 is that probably since I've been talking, there's been a question about high availability and maximum availability and how do we support that within the cloud and even within multi-cloud. So for us having a solution for this 5 nines plus maximum availability, similar to what we would do within our best practices for MAA, but having that deployed and managed automatically within OCI Golden Gate to follow any outages or planned or unplanned, and we'll have that. Being able to support not only cloud customer that we would have for this year as well, but also any type of local deployment, whether it's in an edge node, on-premise, wherever you would have that be deployed. But we support that today with GoldenGate, but we want to support that same model of control in the cloud, data plane being somewhere else, and having that all be metered, managed, monitored from within the cloud. I hit briefly on the next gen use case experience, but we've built out a great foundation for OCI Golden Gate from being able to deploy, configure, create extracts and replicats. But we also want to make that very easy from a top-down feature. So a data engineer, other people that aren't necessarily used to doing real-time replication and generating extracts and replicats can use it. And then more autonomous features. So I see I'm running along pretty good here. So I wanted to jump into the demo. And so I've been going for about 30 minutes. So the demo that we'll talk to today is bidirectional replication from Phoenix to Ashburn. And when we take a look at this, I wanted to show it in an overview topology first so we all understand it. So we have two regions, Phoenix and Ashburn. We have OCI Golden Gate deployed publicly in each one. So I have an OCI Golden Gate deployment. I have another OCI Golden Gate deployment in Ashburn. I have an ATP instance in Ashburn. I have an ATP, it's actually ADW instance in, this is Phoenix. I have an ADW instance in Ashburn. And what we do is that we have a set of scripts that make changes in this ATP database. We have an extract that's going to grab those changes. It's going to bring those up through a private endpoint database registration that created this private endpoint between these two tenancies into OCI Golden Gate. OCI Golden Gate's going to track the changes. It's going to push those out over the distribution server. The OCI Golden Gate deployment in Ashburn is going to be able to pool those with the receiver server. So this is all streaming protocol. When we think about latency, this actually latency matters a lot less when we're doing this DS to RS. And once we have it in OCI Golden Gate in Ashburn, we're going to have a replicat that actually pushes this data into this ADW instance. And then we actually have the mirror of that. So if I have a user out here making changes directly on this ADW ATP instance, we have an extract. That extract pushes this out over the distribution server. The receiver server grabs it, and it pushes that data back down into this ATP instance in Phoenix. So bidirectional. The use case that we have is still a fairly simple one here because we know that bidirectional can get pretty technical fairly quickly, but we'll walk through what we have here today. And I know that this might be the first time a lot of you are actually seeing OCI Golden Gate, but I'm not going to walk through in this demo. I'm not going to walk through all of just the getting started. We have a lot of really good hands-on labs and quick starts that we have set up within OCI Golden Gate. And when we log into the Cloud Console, so into OCI Console, and once we get in, we can navigate to OCI Golden Gate. So from the menu, we can go into Golden Gate. And the first place that we land is our OCI Golden Gate landing page. And from our landing page, we have a tour, we have the documentation, learn more, but we also have even more of this, but the top set of quick starts, plus the additional quick starts and live labs that we have, but just getting started replicating data between two cloud databases, replicating data between data in different regions. This is not bidirectional, but just unidirectional. And how do we connect? If we have GoldenGate setup is just a private IP only. How would we actually do that connection? And but today we're here. We want to be able to create a deployment, which is our replication service. So the first thing we would do is create a deployment. We would name this deployment. And when we create this, we can say how many OCPUs. So if we were looking at what we showed in the slides, we could create it with 4 OCPUs. We could turn on auto scaling. This would go from 4 to 3 times 4 automatically. For this demo, and when I create this, we're just going to do it with 1. We would select where this is running, so the subnet that this is running. We have the different license types that we could select. We can always turn this on, especially if this was a dev or test environment. Maybe we want this available over a public IP. So we could create a public endpoint. We could customize an endpoint if we want it. We would say, need to give it the details that we have for GoldenGate. So GoldenGate is running here. And the admin and password. Anyway, I'll skip that for now, but we would create that. We'd go out there 6 to 8 minutes. That would be created. It's too long for this demo anyway, but I have one that I have already created. Actually, I wanted to show it in Phoenix first. So I'm just switching between regions here. So we're now in Phoenix. They can catch that first. And here's a deployment that I have created. And we can see here, this is GGS deployment. I've created it with 1 OCPU. We can see that it's bring your own license, some of the other information here as well, but it only has a private IP. So this deployment is only accessible inside of the OCI network. And what I've done here to make it accessible outside is I've set up a load balancer in my tenancy. So it's like I'm a customer and it has a public IP. So I can access this over a public IP and then it gives me access to the private. And that's what we'll see when we log into this. So now we have this replication service running, which is our GoldenGate deployment. I can go back and I can take a look at our registered databases. So remember when I showed the demo is that we have to build the tunnel, which is the private endpoint from our ATP, which is living in our customer tenancy, into GoldenGate, OCI Golden Gate, which is living in our service tenancy. And that's what this is. So I can go out, I can register a database, and this is going to create the tunnel. So here, Customer Summit. And we can see here that we have the ability to register really any type of Oracle database. We'll see here, we'll bring in MySQL and the additional types here as well. But I can select a database. First, I'll select a rack database just to show what it shows up when we select a rack database. This lives in a separate compartment, but I can select this 1047. We can see that we go out, we grab all the metadata. So as a user, you're not entering any of this information. This is all coming from the control plane. Of course, if this happened to be an on-premise instance or somewhere else, you could enter in all the information. But we know that this is single client access. This is a rack database. How we would connect, we could give a username. If this was SSL, we could give a wallet. So all the information is filled in for us here. If I went back and said this is actually autonomous database, we can go out, we could select one of the autonomous databases that shows up as well. And here we can see if you've connected to an autonomous database before, you've had to grab the wallet. We do all that behind the scenes. We grab the wallet, we sync that with GoldenGate, we create the connection string, we do all that behind the scenes. And I could click register here. And once I register this is what we would create. So I have an extra target here that we're not using, but this is what we would have created for our Phoenix source ATP instance. And it's all set up and the connectivity is there. We still don't do anything with the wallet, but this is going to sync this automatically as a credential in GoldenGate itself. So now if I switch over just to show real quick in Ashburn we have really the same type of setup, is that in GoldenGate that we have our deployment, IAD GoldenGate deployment. And this one, a little different, is this one I have set up as public. So this is available over the public internet, over SSL. You log in over SSL. But Oracle, we manage the service, the certificate. So everything is set up. The DNS is all set up. This is available. So as soon as this is created in that 6 minutes that it takes to deploy this is available over a public IP. So if we click Launch Console here, this is going to go out over the public internet. I'm not connected to anything here and be able to bring that up. And then we would log in. So that's there. And then actually, I didn't show this on the previous screen. I'll show it in one other session. But we also have our connection to the IAD ADW instance there as well. Just real quick, wanted to show this when we were looking at the deployment is here's all the information and details we were looking at before in Phoenix, but we also have all of these metrics that we can monitor. We can create alarms on these metrics. So if I have CPU utilization over 90%, I could create an alarm that's going to send me an email or notify my operator of when that happens. Or if my overall health went below 100. Or here you can see this looks big because lag is on a scale of 10 for 10 seconds. But say if my lag went up over 100 seconds or something else, that I could be notified on this. And but a lot of different events and metrics that we have out here as well. So now we can jump in because we have our two replication services set up from our deployments. And we can look here, I have a Phoenix environment. And this is actually, we can see I have my own FQDN that I created myself with all the DNS entries. And this is what we see from a lot of our retail customers, that they have their own FQDN, that this would be companyname.com and GoldenGate. And then in IAD, this is actually just a public deployment that we've created. So I probably have to log into both of these again. Yep. So once we log in, we'll see that I do have a couple of extracts and replicats out here running. But first, I wanted to show on the configuration side that the two database registrations are synced here. And when we created this for ATP, we didn't give a connection string. We didn't say anything about a wallet. All this was created automatically for us. We can go out, we can connect and log in. And we have that. And same thing in IAD. And I know I'm starting to run low on time here, but we can go back to the overview. And we have our replicat and extract. And the very first one that we have out here is our extract. And back to that picture, we want to be able to extract all the changes that are coming in from that user on this ATP instance in Phoenix. So we can see this as SRC DS Gray is our schema. So any change that comes through with a schema, we want to replicate this. We want to replicate it to IAD. So now if I click on this IAD instance, and here I need to log in here as well. So if I log in here, I was creating the extract here. On the IAD instance, we've talked a lot about DS and RS, but this is where we would create this receiver service. And the receiver service is what reaches out to that instance in Phoenix and grabs that data and pulls that data down. So we can see this OCI GG demos, which was our FQDN that we had within Phoenix. We grabbed that trail file E1. I didn't show that, but that is the trail file. And then we deliver it as P1. And once it's delivered, then we can go back and we grab that with this replicat. And this replicat, if we take a look at the parameters, it's grabbing everything from source DS Gray, and it's actually translating that to the source mirror schema, and it's going to replicate that data. And then we actually have the reverse of that going on as well. So we have an extract here that is pulling source DS Gray. So me as a user or an application, it's making changes in Ashburn, and it's making a source mirror schema. And then in Phoenix, it's actually pulling this data back with our receiver server. So this is, as we see here, this is the FQDN that we have in Phoenix. It's pulling that data. It's moving it over to the OCI GG demos, and it's E1, P1 again. And then I have a replicat, that same thing. Now we're grabbing this data from source mirror. We're grabbing this data from source mirror, and we're translating that into the schema, and everything will work. And that's our bidirectional replication that we have. So I want to really show this in action as well. So we can take a look here on our extract statistics, that what we have here so far in the statistics, we did some deletes because I cleaned this up right before I ran this, but we only have our heartbeat information, and I can go out into our performance metrics server. I can take a look at some statistics that are running. And I also have another kind of plugin that I wrote. So I wrote this. It uses all the APIs to go out, and same thing that any customer can do, because all these APIs are accessible through REST. And I'm grabbing all the inserts, updates, and deletes. Well, inserts in this picture. And we can see that we have Phoenix user inserts, 0. Ashburn replicated insert, 0. Same thing on the flip side. So really no data there. And I can go out and I can log into I can log into Phoenix on this ATP instance. And I can run a set of insert statements. And then we can watch this data flow through. And so we'll do this. So we'll go ahead and run this. It's just basically we're waiting a minute and a half. We're not running through a lot, but just for us to be able to see this in a demo. So we can already see that we have inserts that are coming over. This traffic light is just kind of telling us whether things start matching up or don't. We can also see from the GoldenGate Performance Metrics Service that we can see these changes. I am doing updates and deletes here as well, but in my little plugin, I'm only tracking the inserts. So we can see this data run through. I can actually go ahead and kick off the bidirectional side, because right now we're only seeing inserts on Phoenix, Ashburn, replicated inserts. And if I can get this logged in before, if not, I'll just show this one more time. So we can kick this job off. This will go up to 168. So we'll see here, we can see, if I click here, we can see the statistics that each of these are bringing across. We can see now that Ashburn is actually going on, and Phoenix just finished with the inserts. It'll catch up with the repcat, so that one's actually done. We'll see the Ashburn inserts. Let me jump in real quick on the performance metrics. I clicked into Ashburn. We're in the performance metric service of Ashburn. Now we can look at that second extract in Ashburn, and we can take a look at its database statistics. And we can see that this is still running along here just fine. We didn't have any conflicts so far. Of course, I made sure of that. But we didn't have any conflicts with the data, and we're able to do this bidirectional replication as we go on. And then they both have caught up. They've both done 168 inserts. They're both done. Now, real quick, I'll show one of the neat things to be able to see this. And when we're doing bidirectional replication, this is exactly what happens is we did 168 inserts in Phoenix, did 168 inserts in Ashburn, and they're the different tables. So when we do a delete, though, we're not just going to delete 168 because we did a lot more than that. We replicated these inserts from Phoenix into Ashburn. A user made 168 more inserts directly in Ashburn. So when we run this, I'm in Ashburn. When we run this delete statement, and we take a look here in Ashburn, we're going to see this statement coming through for a delete. That's going to be a lot more. So 322 on the first one and how it runs through. So we can see that we really were doing bidirectional replication because I only had one set of 168 inserts on each side. And now that that delete is done, really just to show, I'll just kick both these off at the same time. So the insert there and the insert here. But this is really what I wanted to be able to show today was the power of OCI Golden Gate. If we had more time, I could show how easy it is to really create these extracts, replicats, distribution server, receiver server. And that's only 5 to 7 minutes more within this demo. And maybe you guys have seen it before. But now we can see the bidirectional side going on. We can see here on the performance metric server that's occurring as well. But now I would like to hand it over to Alex Kotopoulos. He's going to talk about GoldenGate Stream Analytics and some of the new and exciting features that we'll have there as well. Again, I'm Dennis Gray. Thanks everybody for joining today. And I really can't wait to see everybody face to face in the future. So thanks again. Thank you.